Please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
Vikas, you just made the point that we're probably at the top of the interest rate cycle. So is that likely to be a big positive trigger going forward? And how do you rate this huge run-up that we saw in the corporate-facing banks? It all started with some good numbers, Canara Bank, BOB, etc. A decent performance perhaps by even an Axis Bank. How do you view this pocket? Because this is one under-owned area of financials.
Absolutely, and I think this has been a pain area for a long period of time. As I think we saw in last 3 or 4 years, the biggest problem was asset quality, and I think from recognition to provision we have come a long way, and we are probably almost close to the end of the provisioning cycle across the board, especially some of the corporate banks like Axis Bank, ICICI Bank, and some of the public sector banks. So I think you pass through that, and biggest advantage is that when the economic recovery happens, some of the assets which have been NPL, they would also start turning good assets, and your recovery would be far better than what you otherwise would have. I mean, we have seen in case of what has happened in some of the steel assets. So you will see many more of that sort of playing out. Some of the NCLT cases have shown very good recoveries, or expected recoveries. So I think now market is making a hypothesis. Most of the pain is behind, provisioning is done, and some of the franchises which are or expected recoveries. So I think now market is making a hypothesis. Most of the pain is behind, provisioning is done, and some of the franchises which are intact otherwise from a liability and lending perspective, both sides, I think can do very well. And I think that is where you see worst is behind, and market is overlooking even next 2-3 months, 2-3 quarters of possible pain still left. But I think market is kind of trying to now, and I agree with that I think probably some of the corporate facing banks like of ICICI Bank, Axis Bank could be fairly, given where the valuations are of rest of the other pack versus these banks, could be fairly interesting spaces to look at. So definitely believe that the market is coming back and looking at that, and I think the biggest underlying thing is economy is on mend, and I think underlying economy will do very well. And interest rates, I think if the oil price does not surprise us on in a big way, if it doesn't go towards $90-100, then I think we are fairly under control, and which is where I think RBI also has maintained the stands. So I believe that if that is a surprise, nobody is an answer. But if that joker is still out, if that is okay, then I think we have seen most of the interest rates behind us.